Welcome back, folks. This time we're making a Blurrg. No print, no kit, no plan, just a kit bash. Another Star Pours video. I'm going to show you how we build this thing and follow along, or we're going to get to the table. Had this leftover Triceratops butt from a previous build. Check that out. I'll put a link in the description. The other main part is going to be this anglerfish or lanternfish, and I cut a lot of it out. Like I trimmed out a lot of the pieces here. We just kind of keep going until it fits nicely. Split the mouth and glue that shut a little bit more there. It's kind of natural gluing that on the inside there. It looks more natural than if I was trying to glue it on the outside. Just keep trimming until you're happy with how it all looks together, how it all fits together. We're going to start the base assembly with some hot glue. This helps fill the gaps and the voids, makes it all kind of fit nicely together. And we're going to do some patching and putting a little bit later on here. Had this T-Rex on hand. This came from a 5 surprise blind pack. I have a few of those on hand. It's easy to use these arms. They're just about perfect scale here. Now that base is about the same size they have for the Tauntaun here. I just happen to have a spare one on hand. And here we're going to use a kind of paste that I make with baking soda and some Instaset. Kind of lets you fill the whole gap pretty good. And then super glue, the whole thing gets very hard very quickly. We're going to get some Rex lace going, get some strapping. This stuff's fun because it's round on one side and flat on the other. And of course sand it so it glues better. We're not going to worry about too much on the top end here because that's going to be covered with the saddle. Notice an odd parallel between the lanternfish and the Blurrg. All we really see is the women, like the females here, right? In lore, the Blurrg, we hear Quill say in Mandalorian that all the males are eaten during mating season. And with the lanternfish, we don't really see the males. They're parasitic. They bite onto the female and eventually get absorbed into her body, and then there aren't really any males. So in a way, they're kind of eaten too. I'm just going to take some cereal box cardboard and flex it and fold it and roll it a little bit until it kind of becomes the shape of a saddle. Super glue that in place, and then we're going to saturate those rolled edges with some glue to get that nice and sturdy. And moving on to these army guys here. I feel like I've used this same version of army guys on a couple of builds. We're just going to chop off the one leg and get him glued on, and then we'll putty that leg back on in a minute. Hey folks, I notice a lot of you watch my videos and yet you're not subscribed, and I'm glad you're watching. I appreciate that, but you keep coming back, and you know, I keep putting out videos, so maybe go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss any. And more of that same kind of putty, that paste I made out of the baking soda, Instaset, and then with that glue. I'm just going to take this paper clip. Initially I burnt some holes in the back of the helmet at a downward angle. We're just going to make a kind of a head tail here. We'll turn this guy into a Twi'lek. And it's just kind of the understructure. There you go, 2 head tails. And break out my favorite epoxy sculpt. This stuff I use for a bunch of stuff over the years. And it's a very simple 1-to-1 putty. You mix it up until it's a clean color. Roll that stuff out like we did in grade school. Just make yourself a little coil, and then just kind of smoosh it around that wire. I find that it's pretty simple to make yourself some Twi'lek conversions here. I might be doing that more in the future. He's moving right along. He's looking pretty good. Let's add some details here. These are those painting dots. I'm going to give the rider some goggles. Very Star Warsy feeling of our Twi'lek to have goggles they're not actually using, just like it's jewelry. We're going to add some details here. The reins to steer the big beast. Using a regular dot there from a hole punch. And then we're going to also put a dot on that.
At about $4, this is way more affordable than almost $50 for those new Tauntauns coming out.
Now I have a box of bits here that I'm trying to use here. I've got a little gas can I ended up not using but tried it, and then this kind of bedroll. And I need to Dremel that, so I went and did that in the garage. And that glues on nice. Kind of finishes out that whole saddle look. Try the gas can again. Ultimately, again, not using it, but you kind of check, see if it works. Right onto the paint job. See that base coat kind of pulls it all together and makes it stop looking like a Frankenstein toy. Atypical paint job here, folks. It's just kind of the norm. We dry brush it up gray, and then right around that mouth, we're going to use some fleshy colors. I got this fancy little airbrush off of Temu. I know, don't yell at me about Temu, but it was cheap. It was about 25 bucks or less, and helps me get a nice even coat of that red on there. I feel like that helped make this look good. And this pops way more on camera than it does in person. I'm not sure why.
Of course, this beastie could be used in any kind of tabletop role-playing game that's got a sci-fi or fantasy feel. Interestingly enough, the first time the Blurrg appeared was in an Ewok movie.
Just kind of working through the paint job here. Love that burnt sienna. I use it for a lot. Rust, leather, flesh colors. Just going to start working on all those little details now. As it says, the devil's in the details. Now, with that white coat on there, this blue ink is really going to pop. Found that to be a lot easier than I thought. And then that ended up being a little darker than I wanted, so I went back in and did just the lightest amount of dry brushing with the lighter blue just to make the details pop. Making those pants kind of military looking. I want to dance on all the fittings and metal pieces. Give them a little badge there. I'm going to use some of this UV resin. I'm just using a mold for a crystal there, so I have some to work with. Make the teeth shiny and the mouth wet. And get some gloss on that eye. Make it seem more alive. Get that with the light, and we're golden. Last step here is really just a little bit of a wash here. That's just so that all those deep details on that wonderful dinosaur and angler fish all finally pop. If you want to see me do more beasts, more riding beasts, and more creatures, I'd love to do that. Comment beast below. Similarly, if you want to see me do more aliens, comment alien, and I'll do those too. Mwah, give me a kiss, baby. Hey folks, I appreciate you hanging out today. One more time, if you haven't subscribed, maybe do that. Check out these links. This is what YouTube thinks you're going to like. Hey folks, have a great day.